The wind blew gently across the open sky as Stickman climbed into a colorful hot air balloon. With a small wave to the ground below, he pulled the rope and rose higher and higher, eyes wide with excitement. His mission was simple: travel around the world as fast as he could, but still stop long enough to taste each culture. His heart raced at the thought. Every corner of Earth was waiting for him, and this time he wasn't just passing through, he was exploring.
The first stop came quickly: Japan. As the balloon floated down near Tokyo, Stickman's eyes lit up at the sight of cherry blossoms drifting through the air. A friendly Stickman samurai bowed to him, offering a wooden practice sword. They sparred playfully, laughing with every move. Then Stickman was handed a plate of sushi, so fresh it almost sparkled. He tried to use chopsticks, failed miserably, and finally just used his hands, earning giggles from the locals. Before he could settle in, the balloon tugged him back toward the sky. Soon he floated over the vast Sahara Desert and landed near the Great Pyramids of Egypt. The golden sand stretched endlessly, and Stickman squinted at the sight of ancient wonders towering above him. A stickman dressed as a pharaoh greeted him with a wave. They explored dark tunnels filled with hieroglyphs and hidden chambers, where Stickman accidentally triggered a trap door, but was saved by a quick leap back to the balloon. Rising higher, the balloon carried him across the ocean until he spotted the green and yellow flags waving proudly over Brazil. Landing in Rio, Stickman was immediately swept into the rhythm of samba drums. A parade of colorful stick figures danced past him, pulling him into the celebration. He tried to dance along, tripping over his own legs, but his goofy moves made the crowd cheer even louder. To cool off, he grabbed a coconut drink from a vendor and smiled at the taste of sweet refreshment.
Next came France, where the balloon drifted gently toward Paris. The Eiffel Tower sparkled under the evening sky, and Stickman couldn't resist climbing partway up with his stick-thin arms. From there, he spotted a small cafe where croissants and coffee waited for him. He tried a beret, tilted it proudly, and attempted to blend in with the locals. When he mispronounced bonjour loudly, the whole cafe chuckled, but in the end, he felt warmly welcomed. Italy wasn't far, and soon the balloon drifted over Venice. Stickman hopped into a gondola, gliding through canals while the singing gondoliers serenaded him. He slurped spaghetti so fast that sauce splattered everywhere, earning applause from nearby tourists. Then he leaned too far to wave at someone and almost tipped the gondola into the water. Luckily, his balance returned just in time, and he waved goodbye as the balloon pulled him skyward again. Crossing into Africa once more, he landed in Kenya, where the wide savanna stretched endlessly under a glowing sunset. Stickman joined a group of Maasai stick figures who welcomed him with a traditional jumping dance. His thin legs sprang clumsily, but he laughed along with everyone. Off in the distance, giraffes strolled and lions roared. The sheer beauty of the wild made him pause, realizing how different and yet connected the world could be.
India came next, dazzling with its colors and sounds. Stickman stepped into a bustling street filled with spices, fabrics, and music. He was invited to join a Bollywood-style dance, spinning and waving his arms awkwardly. Then he tried curry, which turned out much spicier than expected. His stick body shook like a cartoon, smoke practically puffing from his ears. But the crowd clapped in delight as he gulped water and kept smiling through the burn.
The balloon sailed further east until the golden roofs of Thailand shimmered in the sun.
Stickman explored temples decorated with intricate patterns, then tried balancing on a tuk-tuk as it zipped through crowded streets. He tasted pad thai, slurping noodles with joy this time, finally mastering chopsticks. A stickman monk bowed at him quietly, teaching him a brief moment of calm before the balloon tugged him away again into the sky.
Australia greeted him with beaches and kangaroos. Stickman bounced alongside the kangaroos, but his jumps were wild and clumsy, sending him tumbling into the sand. Surfers waved from the waves, and he gave it a try, only to wipe out spectacularly on the first wave. Covered in salt water and sand, he laughed so hard that even the lifeguards clapped. The balloon floated up once more, leaving behind the laughter of the coastline.
Landing in China, Stickman found himself at the foot of the Great Wall. He climbed eagerly, stretching his legs across the ancient stones. Along the way, a group of stick figures handed him steaming dumplings. He tried to juggle them, burned his fingers, and finally gobbled them down happily. Firecrackers popped nearby, and lanterns lit the night sky, making the whole journey feel magical.
Russia came next with its snowy landscapes and colorful onion-domed cathedrals. Stickman wrapped himself in a giant furry hat, looking more like a walking puffball than a stick figure. He slid across the ice clumsily, meeting locals who handed him a steaming bowl of borscht. It stained his mouth bright red, making everyone laugh. He raised a toast with hot tea, warming himself before heading back to the chilly air above.
As he crossed the Atlantic again, Stickman landed in the United States. New York's skyline stretched tall, and he was swept into the chaos of Times Square. A street performer challenged him to a dance-off, and Stickman's floppy moves somehow impressed the crowd. He munched on a hot dog from a cart, craned his neck at skyscrapers, and felt the buzzing energy of the city before the balloon whisked him away again.
Farther west, Mexico greeted him with mariachi music and colorful markets. Stickman was handed a taco so big, it barely fit in his hands. He bit into it, and chili sent him hopping in circles, fanning his mouth dramatically. Locals laughed and gave him a glass of hard shot took home the fire. Then he joined a mariachi band with a trumpet, playing terribly, but smiling wide as the festive crowd cheered louder anyway. Crossing north, he landed in Canada just as snow began to fall. Stickman tried ice hockey with a group of friendly locals. He wobbled on skates, spun like a top, and accidentally scored a goal on his own team. Everyone burst out laughing, patting him on the back. Afterward, they shared maple syrup treats that stuck to his hands, making his stick body extra shiny under the winter sun.
Heading south again, the balloon carried him to Argentina, where tango music filled the streets. Stickman was pulled into a dramatic dance with a partner who twirled him expertly. His awkward feet tripped again and again, but his partner never stopped smiling. Later, he sat down to taste sizzling steak straight from a grill. The flavor so rich he almost cried with joy. He waved goodbye to the dancers, feeling full and happy.
As he flew toward the Middle East, the balloon touched down in Turkey. Stickman wandered through bustling bazaars, mesmerized by carpets, lanterns, and spices. A vendor offered him Turkish delight, which stuck to his hands and teeth until he looked like a walking sugar sculpture. Then he was invited to join a circle dance, spinning until he nearly toppled over. The warmth of the people made him forget the dizziness.
Over to the Nordic countries, Stickman landed in Norway, where the northern lights painted the sky. He gasped at the glowing cowers spinning slowly under the shimmering green waves above. Locals handed him warm fish stew, and together they sat by a fire watching the aurora dance. For a moment, Stickman felt completely at peace, as though the sky itself was welcoming him into its embrace.
Finally, the balloon floated back toward his starting point. Stickman looked down at the earth he had circled, amazed at the diversity, the beauty, and the laughter he found in every stop. Cultures were different, foods unique, dances wild, but every place had welcomed him with open arms. He realized the world was not just big, it was deeply connected, and he had been lucky enough to witness it all.
As the balloon touched down gently on familiar ground, Stickman stepped out with tired legs but a glowing smile. He waved to the sky, thanking the winds for carrying him across oceans, deserts, and mountains. Though the journey was only 80 seconds in his mind, the memories would last forever. And as he set off walking again, he wondered, where would the winds take him next time?